Nice that you could make it. I'm so happy you're here, and I'm really happy that I could help you with understanding a little more about why English is so important. So it's nice to be here. I'm going to tell you a little story. First of all, I teach English online. I've been doing that for probably almost 7 years. In January, it'll be 7 years. I have a lot of students that are now that are students of mine who have taken English courses throughout their life. And what happens is when they get a little older, they get a job and the job says, hey, I need you to speak English. Oh, I speak English, they say. And then they start talking to their boss. They don't speak very well. And so now they're on the platform that I use, and they are now need to speak English well. You guys are in a great position. You are here. Take it in. Do as much as you can to speak English well, because you're going to need it. I promise you that. The future of this world is changing, and most everything you talk to, as far as business, or if you're talking to some companies, they're going to want you to speak English. Not only that, you're talking more money. The better you can speak English, the more money you're going to make. That is so essential. I live in Ecuador. I've been here, like I said, almost 11 years, and this is just part of it. I work online teaching English, and I'm doing really well because I live in Ecuador. If I was working for the same company in the United States, I wouldn't make as much money because, well, it would be the same amount of money. It's just the cost of living is so different. So if you guys can make money here from the United States or Canada or an English-speaking country, you're going to have it made. You will have it made, I promise you that. And because they use American dollars in this country, there's no really an exchange, so it's a great opportunity for you right now. Now, English is now the language of science, aviation, computing, diplomacy, tourism, lingua franca, gracias. And that's what it is in the business world. So it's used a lot in the business world. So the knowledge of English increases your chances of getting a good job with a multinational company within your home country like Ecuador here. Even if you want to travel, finding a job abroad. I have a lot of students that are from Brazil that have now traveled to Canada. Canada is looking for people, like in IT especially. I don't know if any of you are taking IT classes, but the amount of money you can make with IT is amazing. It's so incredible. So the English language, as of 2022, English is the official language of 67 different countries. That's incredible. And most of them, and it's the most spoken language in the world, both by native and non-native speakers. More than 1,100 million people use English every single day around the world. Being able to speak English is not about being able to communicate with native English speakers. It's the most common second language in the world. If you want to speak with someone from another country, the chances are that you will both be speaking English. That's important. English is, and so that's what you need in order to communicate. It has been projected that by 2023, more than 2 billion people in the world will be studying English. That's a lot of people. Now, it's also the language of business. I touched on that a little bit. And it also becomes necessary when when they speak English across the globe in the workforce. Research from all over the world shows that cross-border businesses communicate most often are conducted in English, and many international companies expect their employees to be either fluent or at least be able to communicate effectively in English as their second language. And like I mentioned, especially in the IT industry. The IT industry, people, when you get documents, when you're studying IT, it's mostly going to be in English. So you have to know how to read English as well. There are global companies such as Airbus, Daimler Chrysler, Fast Retailing, Nokia, Renault, Samsung, SAP, Technicolor, Microsoft, and in Beijing, they have designated English as the official corporate language. And that's incredible. Even companies, there's a company called Rakuten, a Japanese tech company similar to Amazon or eBay, if you're familiar with those. They make it compulsory for their employees in Japan to be able to speak English fluently. So if you're looking for jobs, this is the place to be, right here in English class. This is where you need to be. And it can really change your life. English can change your life so much. I was just talking, what's your name? I'm sorry. Yeah. Salia. She wants to travel to Alaska to see the Northern Lights. You know how much easier it's going to be for her when she speaks English? It's going to be a piece of cake. It's going to be easy. And so that's what you guys are trying to do. Also in entertainment world, I have another buddy of mine here that he learned English by watching TV and movies. Him and his wife have a bakery. They make cakes and they're pretty good. They're right downtown Ibarra. He learned English so he can watch movies and understand what they are in English, because it's a work of art, really. A movie, a TV show, or something like that. And people put them together with an idea. If it's dubbed, or if it's translated, or if you're just watching the captions, you're not going to get the full picture of what that movie, TV show, or even books are like. So it's important to know that in the entertainment world, that's something that is also important. So it also gives you a lot more internet access, because according to a report by Education First, English is the first language of the internet. In 2023, it was estimated that 5 billion people, almost 65% of the world's population, use the internet, with 170 million new users added in the last year alone. So English is the most common language on the internet, and used by 6 million of the top 10 million websites. Over 60% of the entire internet sites, they're English. And if they're not English, if they are English, they have some sort of translation, so you can use them in your language and then also in English. And if you think about it, if you have a website or an internet site, anything like that, if you're doing anything online, you want as many English speakers to like your channel or to go to your website to buy your products as possible, because once people start talking about it in English, it's going to blow up. And that's the idea. That's what you're looking for. Speaking of that, be sure to like and subscribe. That's my channel. So the best thing about English is its popularity. Most people speak it at one level or another, no matter which country you live in. It's around the world, someone speaks English in the country you live in. So you guys can pretty much know an English speaker. If you go to Supermax and you see me, you know I speak English, right? I don't look like the rest of you. And so that's the point. The point is you can see these English speakers wherever you go. And it can be a challenge learning English. It's very important to use disciplined practice, and it can be fun. Today I'm going to show you some guidelines that will help you improve your reading comprehension, improve your skills in not only reading and comprehension, but speaking better, and become a better English student. And it has many benefits, as we talked about just a minute ago. So, as you're learning English, try to relax. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Try not to worry about how you sound when you speak. Just relax. If you get stuck or confused, just start over. Speak slower if you have to. Take time to pause and think about the next few words in your sentence. Do whatever it takes to be more comfortable when you speak English. So what I teach is different than most teachers. Most teachers, like you guys, are all learning grammar, right? Everybody here is learning grammar. Now, grammar is necessary, especially if you're talking about typing out your resume, making it sound good. Grammar is important. I don't teach grammar, I teach fluency. So what's the difference? First, you have to understand what fluency really means. One of the things they don't teach you in school is that fluency is an assortment of essential skills and abilities, including the ability to speak without hesitation and at length about unfamiliar topics, the ability to use natural conversational words and expressions like slang and idioms, and have the ability to speak with confidence. I'm going to give you an idiom. So, Mateo twisted my arm to get me to come here today. Do you know what that means? That's an idiom, or that's a slang. It means he didn't really twist my arm. It means he talked me into coming here today. It wasn't hard. As soon as he grabbed my arm, I said, okay. But that's an idiom. That's a slang of trying to, when you try to understand things that people say in English. So I'd like to show you a profile, that first picture. This will visualize the skills you need to be truly fluent. All right, I'm going to have somebody volunteer to read just the words on the left. We have a volunteer running up here to do it. So, how about a teacher? Can you read just here on the left? Yeah, have her read it. One or the other, it doesn't matter. Just on the left from the top to the bottom.
All right. Speaking with confidence.
Continue.
All right.
All right, stop there. I'm going to have another student. We'll have you do it right there. The second one, yes, perfect.
Okay, building your overall fluency and smooth pronunciation.
Now your neighbor.
Speaking without hesitation.
Improving your listening ability.
Excellent.
Using language rules without thinking.
Using natural conversational words and expressions. Taking opportunities to speak.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Let's give him a hand. There we go. Very good. So if you notice, all of these are at 100%. So this is somebody that's been around the English language a long time, somebody that has had time to practice, or somebody that was raised in the States like myself. So these skills and these abilities are what you're trying to accomplish and get there with that. So native English speakers have a strong ability to communicate using both formal conversational language confidently, correctly, and automatically. And they easily understand other native speakers. This is because everything they learn in English is as a complete system. A typical English student, by contrast, only learns grammar and how to pass written tests. This causes them to develop poor individual habits in learning the foreign language, and as a result, their fluency is weak, not their grammar. Their fluency is weak overall. And many have not had the opportunity to speak with a native English speaker. This is why so many non-native English students, for the most part, are good readers and writers of the English language, but not spontaneous, fluent speakers. They haven't developed all the skills that are required to express themselves in English successfully. Now let's look at the next graph. Now, this is the same one that we had the volunteers read a minute ago. If you notice, this time, they're not filled out to 100%. So this person, whoever filled this out, is in the process of learning. They're in the process of getting better and better with this language. You notice they have here they have 40% listening ability or understanding ability. They also have 35%, they know some of the rules. But the problem comes at the very top. They have only 5% of confidence. And then on the very bottom, they only have 5% where they take opportunities to speak. So you can see how those work hand in hand. If they don't have confidence, they're not going to speak. And if they don't take opportunities to speak, they're not going to build their confidence. And so that's what fluency is about. And so that's what we have to try to work on. Now that you understand the problem, you're ready to learn what to do to fix the problem. The fastest and simplest way to finally become a confident, fluent English speaker is to develop your weakest fluency skills first. Most intermediate and advanced English students don't feel like they're becoming more fluent because they only try to improve their strongest skills by doing things like learning more words, for example. If you already have a large vocabulary, it's like adding a drop of water to the ocean. It's an improvement, but you don't feel like you've made any progress along the way. So you have to try to develop other things. And if you don't notice your progress, you'll never build the essential motivation you need to continue learning and to finally reach fluency. So developing your weakest skills is going to help you. Even though, like the example I just used, if you have a large vocabulary and you keep trying to learn more words, it's not going to help you become more fluent. You have to expand. And I find that a lot of my students will study their strongest skill or what's easy for them. Oh, this is easy. I'm gonna just watch some TV shows with subtitles. That's great. I can do that. And so that becomes part of what they do. Now you have to try to expand that and not only study what is easy, but study the other things that are a little more difficult. Let's see what happens if you develop your weakest fluency skills first. Let's say you are an incredibly shy student and you develop a few simple tips that double or even triples your speaking confidence. This will give you real progress that you can actually feel. Now, because you're feeling more confident and motivated, you will look for more opportunities to speak. Opportunities that will help you meet native English speakers, learn more conversational expressions, and sound more like a native speaker. And as you speak more, you will train yourself to speak without thinking, improving your listening ability, and build your overall fluency and smooth pronunciation. So this incredible process is what you need to work on, is with fluency. So amazingly, it doesn't matter what your weakest skills are. The important thing is to just focus on whatever they may be. You can see how this simple approach, it can keep you motivated and improving, and how it helps you to make real progress with your fluency. Right now, your weakest skills are the number one thing stopping you from becoming a confident, fluent English speaker. Whatever your weaknesses are, from lacking the confidence to express yourself, having a vocabulary that disappears in your mind when in conversations, translating in your head before you speak, or struggling with anything else connected with speaking, listening, pronunciation, and more. Now, I know that happens. I know that when you're trying to talk to somebody in English, you forget. I know that happens with me with Spanish. If I'm talking to Sebastian or Mateo, sometimes I don't know what to say. And I think I know, and I say it, it's wrong. But that's the idea. That's the process in which it takes for you to get better and better and better. And I'm going to give each of you an exercise to do on your own. When I was teaching him English years ago, I said this. I said, you live in a country where there's other English speakers. When you have time, or when you go to the mall, everybody goes to the mall, right? You see movies, or you go there for the food, whatever you're going there for, you're going to see some gringos. You're going to see them, inevitably. I know a lot of you are shy or reserved. Go up to them and say, hi, my name is Tim. I'm learning English. How are you today? You will be surprised, especially if they're a gringo like me. I'm going to say, hey, how are you? Hey, good to meet you. How long have you been studying? They will talk to you, even if it's a brief minute or two. That gets you to practice the English you know. It's not easy. I'm not saying that it's easy. I am not saying that at all. And it's something that will help you. So I have something. How many people here like to sing? Like to sing. How many do karaoke? How many do karaoke? You ever do karaoke? Awesome. Singing songs in English will help you immensely. I try to sing in Spanish every single week. Now, my wife and I have karaoke in our house, and we invite people over, and we have karaoke all the time. I love karaoke. During the pandemic, my son happened to come and get stuck here with his wife for 6 months, which was great. I loved it. Every Friday night, we would do karaoke. I don't think the neighbors liked it because we were 2 or 3 in the morning, but we had a great time doing karaoke. And that's what's going to help. And the thing about singing songs, you may be reserved or shy about singing because you're not sure how to sing, yet you can improve your singing by applying some basic suggestions, and it will make your English improve as well. Maybe you already know how to sing in your own language. Now try to sing in English. You can learn to sing with power and volume by breathing properly. Much as electricity powers a light bulb, breathing energizes your voice when you speak or sing. You should sing as loud as you speak or even louder than that. In fact, within the context of singing songs, many books on how to sing direct persons to shout happily. Try this. Choose one of your favorite songs. You can find the lyrics on YouTube. Read the lyrics out loud in a strong, confident voice. Next, using the same volume, say all of the words of a single phrase of the song in one breath. Then sing the phrase using that same vibrant voice. Don't stop with one song. When you master one song, find another. Your singing voice will become fuller. Do not let it scare you or embarrass you. Keep doing this, and you will see how quickly your English will improve. The thing about singing is you guys probably all know songs when you were a little kid, right? You remember them. I don't know what Spanish song. My wife tells me some Spanish songs, but I don't remember what they were. But there was songs that you guys sang in grade school when you were little kids. You still remember those. And that's what music does. It works on a different part of your brain. And so when you sing in English, you're going to break those songs down the word by word, and they do hyphens and they show you the breakdown of each word. Don't do rap though. Rap isn't a good, rap's not going to help you with English. I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't like rap. I'm just saying it's not going to help you with English because it's way too fast. And so find songs that you're comfortable with, that are kind of slower and help you with your English, and you'll be surprised how well that goes.